Today's program is brought to you by HeyIGOS, the Human AI Governance Operating System. Artificial intelligence is changing how organizations work and make decisions. HeyIGOS provides independent human AI governance, helping organizations establish who is responsible, where human review occurs, and how accountability is demonstrated through evidence. HeyIGOS, human first, always. Govern AI before AI governs you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Florida Business Forum, Florida's #1 business forum podcast. Here's your information guru and anchorman, Sam Yates.
Wow!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Florida Business Forum. And I am so happy that from time to time we really get to introduce you to some very unique people. And today I'm welcoming Jill Whitaker to our program. She's the president of Luxury Corporate Lodging. And you're going, oh, wait a second, that's a mouthful. We need to know more about what that is. And it's just not your ordinary temporary lodging for a variety of workers who might need housing. And the key word is here, around a disaster. But I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm going to let Jill tell us all about it. Jill, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to be here and tell you a little bit about what we do and how we do it.
Well, one of the first things, it's always my part, having been a reporter for many, many, many years, it's great to know a little bit more about you. So tell us about yourself first.
Okay, well, I'm just a country girl from Indiana, grew up around the cornfields, and moved here after high school. Went to college in Florida, and I have a family and several businesses, accountant by trade. Started out in the exciting accounting world and moved to corporate housing, another exciting world.
So luxury corporate lodging, that is really the tell-all right there. But
Yes.
what do you do?
So we do primarily, we house a lot of different industries, but primarily we house government officials that are deployed to a disaster. And so we will help them find lodging before and or after a disaster happens. So we're part of the preparations and also a part of the rebuild after something happens, hurricanes, fires, we've floods, all the things. We're there to kind of help rebuild our communities.
I have had background in disaster preparedness and response through the American National Red Cross, so I get it. But when we were chatting yesterday, and we've had a couple of back and forth conversations, something that you said really hit home, and that is there's nothing that can beat preparation when it comes to being ready for a disaster. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, so what we do is we work with different entities like FEMA, and when they're preparing or they hear there's a hurricane coming, the possible path, they will already deploy people in those areas before it happens. So we're a part of, making sure they have housing, finding them housing. Obviously, we don't know where a hurricane's going to hit. So a lot of times it could hit in a very remote area that there isn't a lot of places to stay. So we work diligently to find them something, so they'll have boots on the ground before it happens, and then they can help, the community even better once they're already there. So we do that first and foremost to prepare for the disasters. And also we try to keep, even on our website and our blogs and everything, we try to keep the community aware of what's going on and where we're going to be if they need our help.
How quickly can you provide help? That was interesting that I was like, wow, but for our audience.
Yes. So within a couple of days, we are constantly, we have, connections and relationships that we've built throughout the U.S., Puerto Rico, U.S. territories. We've kind of been everywhere. So we are very used to doing a rapid response, and we have our rapid response team. So we can, if we get the call, we're there. I mean, as I explained to you yesterday, sometimes, if I get the call, I'm on a plane that day or the next morning. We always go there. Someone from my team goes themselves. So we make sure we're finding safe accommodations for our travelers.
Now, you're based in Florida, which is one of the ways that you heard about this program. And when I heard about what you do, I was like, no, 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 no. We're not letting this lady get away. She's got a story to tell. But you're really national and somewhat international in scope.
Yes, for sure. We just go where we're needed, basically. And I think that kind of sets us apart from other corporate housing companies. A lot of people have like a location and, or, a territory, and that's their main focus. We focus nationally, or, Puerto Rico, when Maria happened, we were there. We set up really quickly. I spent so much time in Puerto Rico. I actually got a place there just so I could be there, boots on the ground to help. It was very, a huge, huge disaster. So we spent several years there. And so, yes, we just go where we're needed. We can set up quickly. We can be there 48 hours. And again, our main focus is to make sure somebody on our team is there to help and walk everybody through. When we're helping these, either they're FEMA employees or another employee, contractors, whoever's there to help. Obviously, there's a ton of different trades that come. We're just there to make sure that their stay is comfortable, and we're supporting them because they're supporting, our the rebuilds in our, in the US, right? So it's super important for us that they feel supported, and we call it white glove service. We're always right there for them no matter what they need. So if it's a phone call away or they need us to come help in any capacity, we're there. And this is a passion of mine to really be a part of helping rebuild our communities. And I think that it's because we have so many disasters now, it's super important to remember that we have to, be there for each other.
I want to come back and talk a little bit more in detail on disasters, but when it is a word called luxury, I don't want our audience to think that this is a little shantytown place or a work camp. These are really nice lodging for those workers.
Yes. So we make sure they have all the comforts of home. We always have full kitchens, an outdoor space. I make sure they have an outdoor space. They have washer and dryers. I go as far as making sure everybody has a Keurig and an air fryer if they want to cook something different. So we just make sure that it's very comfortable and has all the comfort features that we would like if we were home. We call it your home away from home.
What's the typical stay when you have a disaster response, and whether it be FEMA workers, military, government, whatever it might be? And I guess you do have military. I didn't mean to say
Yes.
military, but I guess you do have military. What's the typical stay in your luxury corporate lodging?
Well, the typical stay is 1 day to a year.
Mhm.
So we'll any time frame, we try to be there for whoever needs it. And also we don't just support the government. We support different travelers, no matter what it is. If you're professionally or if you're relocating, we have a lot of other corporate housing companies because we have such a large inventory. They actually use our inventory and they know that we'll take care of their clients. So we do as little amount of stay. Like I said, we've done it for a day because just like the military, these people can get demobilized from one disaster to another disaster, or somebody's relocating for a job and they just need 2 weeks before they, find their permanent home. So we try to be as flexible as possible so we can help everyone.
When we last talked, something that really stuck out to me was that you don't search for any of your housing facilities online. It's in person.
Correct, correct. We start the search, right? We use Google, we start the search, we see what's out there, and then we always have boots on the ground. And always helped us to be ahead of the game as well. And I've gone to certain areas and they said, listen, we don't do corporate housing. But when I can explain our mission and what we're about and why we're there, we have a lot of times that properties will say, okay, yeah, we want to be a part of that. We will house you. We will help you. So it is really great to be, in person, wherever that may be. And just this is super close to my heart. And I just feel like every time we're on the ground, we just get better results.
Right now, there's probably somebody in our audience that's either in a corporate position or in one of the agencies, and they're going, wow, I didn't know anything about this. How can someone get in touch with you if they are going to be, especially a deployed or an agency that could be helping, and whether it's a relief or whatever it might be, how can they get in touch with you to begin a query process or begin the process of establishing a long-term relationship? What's the procedure?
Okay, so they can get a hold of us on our website, which is luxurycorporatelodging.com. They can also call us. Our phone number is 855-782-9525. Someone's always going to answer the call. It's going to be a person in our office. And another staylcl.com. You can always get to us by that website as well. And again, we don't have AI. I love AI, but we like a personal touch. So you'll always get somebody on the phone that's going to help you.
You know my feeling on AI. We had that
I do.
conversation too. So, as I take a look at what's going on in the world of disasters, I put my reporter hat back on, and it's amazing. We seem to be having more and more disasters. And yes, we may have been a little light on hurricanes so far this season, but there's always, what we like to remind people, it only takes one to be a really bad disaster. But you've seen an increase in other disasters, flooding, fires. Fair statement?
Yep, that's very fair. We've been in Santa Fe, New Mexico for quite a few years for the fires that continue to happen in that area. And the tornado, Kentucky, we've been in Kentucky a lot more, just seeing the increase in the tornadoes and in the flooding. And so we go wherever we're needed, but definitely I think I told you we call it Hurricane Alley, all the states that,
Yeah.
really get hit, Louisiana, Florida, Georgia's been hit a couple times recently. So that was really our focus. And then we really shifted gears to make sure we could help with the flooding and the fires. And so we're obviously we have a lot of that going on right now. So we're starting to see some movement in that area, and we're definitely responding and reacting and helping in those other types of disasters for sure.
I want to switch back to FEMA in particular, and I'm certainly not asking you to offer criticism or point any fingers because we don't want to do that. We're fair and unbiased in how we look at things, but FEMA has changed. Is the way that they're looking at disasters? It seems to be much more abbreviated today than it was, say, a few years back.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit of a shift, also in the length of time that they want them to be in an area. That's kind of changed. So there's even more movement because they're there less time, but at the same time, they're trying to increase their response time. They're trying to get on the ground faster, trying to be able to help people faster because, like you said, they haven't always gotten a good rap for their response. But in the government, there's a lot of red tape. We all know that. So a lot of times it's not the individuals that work there that are responsible for some of these things. So we try to understand that and be supportive of them because they are here to be of a service to us. And so, but yeah, we've noticed definitely a shift, and we've also had to up our response because there's a lot more movement. So we got to be in more places at one time and just be available and flexible for them.
In having your conversation over the past couple of chats that we've had, I get the impression that with your organization, everyone has to be, by just general nature, caring, but also multi-talented.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I have a great team. It's taken me years to get here, but we were one of the fastest growing small businesses in the US last year. And that's really because of the strong team that I have, and everybody is, all hands on deck. And they know that when something's coming up, that we have to be available. So, to be honest with you, I definitely couldn't be where I'm at without the team that I have. And building a strong team is super important in this kind of an industry because we're the other option from a hotel. There's hotels everywhere, but we don't know where a disaster is going to hit. So there might not be some good hotels in that area. And so it's really helpful for us to have a strong team that can rapid respond and get, to everybody that needs us. And it's not just the government. We have really expanded and we do a lot more now. The Space Coast and, other areas that we see the growth. We're there to help, with all different kinds of industries, and anybody that's traveling, we can help. And I think one of the things that sets us apart also is that we can do shorter stays and allow people in and out if they only need a 2 week or a 3 week stay. It's kind of customary that it's 30 days or more. And we've noticed that sometimes that doesn't work. So with our inventory, if we have it, we're going to, let anybody use it and have access to it. If we have it, then we're sharing and, we're there for whoever needs us. And we can set up. I think that's one of the things that also helps us is if you need something somewhere and we don't have the inventory, we can go set the inventory up at a very quick, pace. So we can help you whether we have the inventory or not, we can make it happen.
How do you do that? Is it just based on the relationships that you've had over the years, or an internal knowledge of, because you've been so immersed in this, you know the right place to go, the right questions to ask? Don't give away a trade secret, but how do you do that?
I mean, we have a lot of great relationships that we've built over the years. This is almost my 10th year of doing this. So, we partner with other management companies, and those strong relationships that we've built, we can pick up the phone, we can call, we can, see who has inventory where. It is definitely building those relationships and working well with others. And that's one of the ways that we're able to do it fast. Obviously, we own some inventory in certain places, but again, we don't know where we're going to need it. So it's always great to have good partners. And in our corporate housing world, partnerships are super important, and we love to partner with other corporate housing companies. So it's more of a community versus competition, I would say, to be honest with you. We all love to work together to help each other out.
What has been the biggest disaster, and maybe not necessarily the biggest disaster that you've helped in a response for, but one that's had the most challenges? What kind of challenges did you see, and how did you overcome that?
So Maria was probably our largest, and it lasted so long.
Mhm.
And I spent a lot of time in Puerto Rico. That was challenging for me because in the US, I wasn't even aware, but in the US, you can find inventory, you can find apartment complexes, you can find, place management companies. So in Puerto Rico, there is no apartment complexes. There is no, a big management company that can give you 20, 30 apartments when you need them. And I had to get on a plane and fly to Puerto Rico to believe it because I was like, they have to have apartment complexes over there. What are you talking about? So I flew over there and okay, there's no apartment complexes. So I literally had to rent condo after condo after condo over there and follow their rules. A lot of times it's challenging because they don't, want to rent something to you in a small amount of 3 to 6 month period. A lot of the associations over there, it has to be a year lease, whatever. So it was challenging. But again, we explain our mission, what we're about, why we're there, and we worked really well. And I gained a lot of good friends in Puerto Rico. I learned a lot of Spanish when I was there, and it was actually a really great experience to be able to help. I mean, what we saw over there month after month when I would go and I would see the tarps on the houses and I would see the blue tarps when I would fly in, and that was consistent 6, 12 months to get help over there. I mean, it was a really humbling and great learning experience to be a part of that. But the challenges also are in Kentucky, when some of those disasters have hit there, they're in a very remote places. There was stuff that hit around Hazard, Kentucky, in some very remote spots. So that is a challenge. But again, I get on a plane. Somebody in my team gets on a plane. We go boots on the ground, and we always find something for them. Another thing I have is I've invested in some tiny homes. So I have them staged if we need to pull them somewhere and put them in a campsite or something like that. We just always figure it out.
If you have a rapid response team ready to go, describe what happens with that rapid response team. What do they do first? How do they assess? How do they report back? And give us a little scenario. It's one thing to find housing, but you really get them in action quickly.
We do. It also has to do with they have certain teams that they stage. So the first team that comes in, they might only be there for a few weeks because they have certain duties to do, right? And then they bring in the next team that's going to be there for a longer period of time. So we really have to assess their need first and say, okay, is this person going to be there a few days or a few weeks? And then we figure out if it's going to be a temporary situation for them that we're just housing them for a few weeks. And then the next team's going to come in that's going to be there for the next year when they're really rebuilding. So it's really in stages. It's basically gathering the requirements to see what they're going to need and then figuring out the housing. And again, our team's going to come over there. They're going to figure it out for you, make sure you're good. We don't ever leave anybody unless we know they're 100% good with what we found for them. So our response team has a lot of responsibility and jobs to do, but everybody really loves what they do, and I think that is why we've grown. Because we're able to help. We like to help people. We like to help businesses, whoever. So we're growing with the need, and we're definitely continuing to grow for sure.
Along that line, what does the future hold? Where would you like to grow and how do you want to grow? Again, I don't want you to divulge secrets that the competitors are going to go, oh, I'm going to do that now. But what's your vision?
Well, my vision is honestly just to grow internationally at some point. So right now, we've done U.S. territories like Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Croix. We were there, and so now when we're in the next few years, we will expand internationally so we can help overseas or wherever we're needed. And so I just see the growth continuing and just to be there, honestly, for wherever we're needed. We're close to the Space Coast, so we're actually expanding in that area too. While there's a lot of expansion going on, there's a lot of data centers that are being put up, so we're starting to get calls for housing when they need the housing in those areas. So we're really expanding. I would say more than just the government. It's other entities and other companies that have been reaching out to us to say, hey, can you help us here? Or it's interns when there's intern programs and they need to house their interns. So we're just really expanding in a lot of other areas besides just the government.
Which leads me to the question one more time. How can someone, if they are in that need or they're planning ahead and they want to say, I have a resource for my program, I have a resource for my employees or my crew that's going to be responding, how can they get in touch with you?
So they can get a hold of us on our website, which is luxurycorporatelodging.com or staylcl.com. They can call us. Our number is 855-782-9525. And someone will always answer. If you're on our website, we have a form that you can submit and we'll get back to you if you have a location. Also, our website can show you a lot of the locations that we're in. But again, if we're not in a location that you need, we can also still help you. So, reach out anytime and we'd love to work with you.
Toughest question I have to ask, but I've got to ask it because I ask it of every guest. Will you come back in the future and give us a progress report and an update?
Absolutely. I'd love to come back and give you an update. It's exciting to be able to be there and help. I'd love to tell you, where we're going to be and what we're doing or what we've done. Obviously, we have a lot of activity right now. So in the next couple months, we're going to be really busy.
I think the way disasters are happening, that is probably going to be an understatement. And if anyone can handle that understatement, I know that it is you and your company. Jill, thank you for being with us here today on the Florida Business Forum.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. And until our next episode, have a great day, everybody. You've been listening to Florida's #1 Business Forum podcast. Thanks for listening. Until our next episode, stay tuned for more business. It's gonna make me grow. The Florida Business Forum podcast has been brought to you by AI Ghost, the human AI governance operating system.